Hello there, familia. Welcome in to United Sessions. I am David Carl, joined by my co-host, as always, my good friend, Mr. Lucas Cash. Lucas, how are you this fine Monday evening?
I'm doing great, Dave. It's a good day. We didn't get the result we wanted on Saturday, but we certainly got the company to endure that result with. It was wonderful to be out on Civic Plaza with a bunch of amazing people who donated a tremendous amount of money to the Somos Unidos Foundation and the Academy. So I'm in good spirits. Got the second vaccine, and we have an incredible guest on the horizon. So it's a good day. And I just saw my good friend Carlos Moreno down there. A very happy evening to you too, sir. Thank you for your support. Dave, how are you? How are you feeling? I know you did a little traveling this weekend.
Yeah, I'm doing great. Had a fun trip down to the RGV. Watched our guys in person for the first time in what feels like decades. It was great to see them in person. As you mentioned, didn't get the result we wanted, but really had a great time just cheering them on. And we were the loudest people in the stadium, which is always fun. But met some great people down there in the Stampede as well. Just really, really enjoyed ourselves. Had a nice little tailgate. A quick turnaround trip. We left Saturday morning and got down there at around 4 o'clock. The match started at around 7:30 their time. So it was a very quick check into the hotel and go. And then left the next morning. So a very fast turnaround, but we had a lot of fun with it and looking forward to the next match. How are you feeling COVID-wise? I mean, you mentioned you got the second vaccine. You got any symptoms? You feeling okay?
Surprisingly, and knock on wood right now, I'm doing great. A little bit of arm soreness, a little bit of stiffness, but a great opportunity to plug that if you're curious where we stand on the vaccine at United Sessions, we are 100% pro-vaccine.
Get it in your arm.
Yeah. Let's get to that herd immunity and let's get that stadium packed. We know that we can do it with 3,000 people. We can do it with 5,000 people, but we'd much rather do it with 15,000 people because that's how we really put our stamp on this soccer community. Michael Azira. I think we already announced that he's going to be our guest tonight, but I think we can do a little bit of setup on how excited we are to have him and how excited we are to be joined by our third host, who is going to make her second appearance. So she's already put the second notch in the belt. You want to talk a little bit about our friends that are joining us tonight?
I mean, come on, Mike Azira, what can you say about him that hasn't been said about a million times? Great guy, great midfielder, but that's not first and foremost. First and foremost is a wonderful human. Really have enjoyed meeting him over the past, what do you got here, January, I think? Right. So it's been about 4 or 5 months since we got to meet Mike for the first time. He's just an incredibly friendly, caring individual. As soon as he had his, kind of quarantine time after arriving, he was out there doing some clinics with David Estrada. The man cares about community first and foremost, and we're blessed to have him here in our community. So very excited to welcome him in the second segment here in just a little bit. And you mentioned also joining us will be Chanel Weesey, the executive director of the Somos Unidos Foundation. She's all right, I guess.
Decent.
We're excited to welcome her in as well. You mentioned it's her second appearance on the pod. Is she the first person other than us? Oh, Troy. Troy made it.
Troy is the first time to first one to two, and Chanel's next up. So she is in wonderful company, as she deserves to be.
Amen. So, again, excited to bring those folks on the other side of the break. But before we do that, Lucas, a little bit of house cleaning. We're switching roles here. You always tell me to do the house cleaning.
It's fun. We need to share it. I realize what a jerk I am. I love the sound of my own voice, but every single episode I've done the intro, and I was like, that's ridiculous. Dave is awesome. Let him have some of those intros. You big old hog. So yes, we are proud members of the Borellis Podcasting Guild, a great organization that is committed to content creation and elevating New Mexican voices. They'll help you with everything from streaming to distribution to how the heck do you even get started? What programs do you need? What equipment do you need? So definitely check them out. They're doing fantastic work. And in 14 days, Dave, we can get back in studio, man. I'm good to go. And I'm really, really looking forward to that. So yeah, Borellis Podcasters Guild, look them up on your favorite social media and definitely give them a follow. Support them in any way you can.
Yeah, absolutely. And in 14 days from now, we will have our first home match under the belt as well, which will be very, very nice. Very excited about that. Gonna be really, really awesome. Speaking of that house cleaning, one more thing before, I guess the next time you get the chance to listen to us, if you don't watch the live stream, if you are maybe picking it up on Spotify, maybe you're listening to us on Stitcher or Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts, give us a rating. Oh, excuse me. Give us a rating if you don't mind. Maybe get me a
give us a rating so we can get Dave some cough drops.
Give us a rating if you don't mind. Give us a download. Leave us a review. Again, it helps us get heard by more ears and seen by more eyes. And, our podcast is about community first, and we want to get that message out there. So if you don't mind, shoot that our way.
Absolutely. Funny update in the Apple realm. They're no longer using the word subscribe because subscription implies some sort of monetary cost. They're doing follow now. So
Okay.
yeah, if you can give us a follow there, that will automatically feed our newest episodes right to your device. And it's just a wonderful way to keep up with it and keep supporting us as you've been so amazing to do. Final note, sponsorship opportunities abound when it comes to United sessions. And it's not a traditional, you buy a commercial space or we mention you in a really inorganic and salesy cheap sort of way. Like, we want to partner with you. We want to know what's important to your business or your organization.
Hey, are you having a tough time sleeping? Get Purple Mattress.
That's right. Yeah, and we're going to start plugging those in. We're working on Crocs right now. They did not ask to be our sponsor, but we have said they're our sponsor. And apparently now Purple Mattress is in the fold. So, Dylan, I don't know what Purple Mattress's hashtag is, but you might want to look that up. Dylan Cuellar, again, I'll get better at the actual administrative side of this. Big thank you to him, our producer. He's in the back scenes watching your comments, adding fun stuff to the stream, and we crazy appreciate him. So that's it, I think, for the house cleaning, Dave.
Yeah, on the other side of this break, we will have the wonderful Michael Azira and the wonderful Chanel Weesey. Stick around.
From day one, community has been at the heart of New Mexico United. This state, these people, this culture is in our DNA. United has always been more than a sports team, and victory has always been more than 3 points. With everything we do, we are dedicated to creating positive outcomes for every New Mexican. It's time for us to double down on that mission. Introducing the Somos Unidos Foundation, our commitment to the future in our state, to the future of our community, and to our belief that we are all united. Somos Unidos.
And speaking of the Somos Unidos Foundation, the executive director of said foundation, Chanel Weesey, joins us, as well as one of our own, our midfield maestro, Mr. Michael Azira. Both of you head up foundations, so you've got that in common. And welcome in to both of you.
Chanel is also quite a gifted number 8 herself, so they also share that. Like, no one locks down a midfield like Chanel Weesey. Let's start with you, Chanel. How are you? Thank you for jumping on with us kind of at the last minute. How excited are you to talk to this guy?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm thrilled. I'm really looking forward to this conversation, and thank you for putting the Somos Unidos Foundation. I'll have to call it by its full name tonight because I can't just say the foundation because we've got 2 foundations in the mix here. But thank you for playing the commercial. I send that commercial around quite a bit, but it has probably been 6 to 8 months since the last time I watched it all the way through, and it gave me chills. So, I mean, a year ago, we were putting that video together from our couches at home. I was working on people I hadn't even met in person yet, and that's super exciting.
Almost exactly a year ago, huh?
Yep, coming up soon.
That's really, really exciting. And the one criticism I do have of that video is that it does have David in it and not me. And I feel like there should be equal time in all of our media. I'm just throwing that out to the video team. Like, maybe give Lucas a little bit of love as you give David love. I'm sorry, that's petulant and childish, especially when we have such a wonderful guest, my friend Mike Azira. Mike, you and I met under the funniest of circumstances, which I was hustling to get a car for you to borrow in your first couple of days here. But since we've grown to be good pals, and I'm very happy to see your face. How are you tonight?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me today. And what makes this club so special is that, that foundation and how it's involved in the community. It's really great. So I'm truly thankful to be part of this club and to be here today.
You mentioned being part of the community, Mike. I mean, I mentioned it in a little intro of you in the last segment, but it might have been 2 weeks to the day after you arrived in New Mexico. You've got that kind of waiting period. Obviously, we're in this pandemic, but right after that, you're joining David Estrada out at a clinic, immediately working with kids. Why? Why was that so important for you to get out there ASAP?
Yeah, Dave, thank you. So there's 2 things, there's what we do and who we are. So what we do is we play soccer, we chase balls and play, but who we are is what lasts, and I believe in serving other people. So when David said, there is a community clinic, I was like, yeah, I'd love to be there. I'd love to go help as much as I can. So I love to, I like to contribute to who I am, and who I am is, I prefer, I love serving other people to do anything that I can to make their lives better or fun.
Mike, it's part of our job as a media team and a communications team that we're bringing in a new player. We do as much research as we can on it. I think some people are a lot more professional about it. I will admit that I myself am a bit of a creeper stalk about it. Like, I want to find out as much as possible. But what I found as it relates to you is an amazing piece in the Players Tribune that's called Michael from the Ghetto, which I think we're going to focus a lot of our conversation on, at least here in the beginning. I just think it's a wonderful piece, and I think it paints this really compelling, beautiful picture. And you're in Kampala, which is pretty darn far away from Albuquerque, New Mexico, but I think there's a lot of parallels in the stuff you're talking about. So just to kind of get it started, talk about those early days. What's it like before you meet a crucial character, Mr. Ken Davies?
Oh man, so first of all, I was born and raised in Uganda, and I have 4 brothers and 1 sister. And our parents raised up in 1 bedroom, and it was in the city, but it was in the ghetto area. But I'm truly thankful, that I had that childhood, because it has taught me so much. Our parents did a great job of teaching us to be appreciative of even the little things that we had in our lives. Because she always wanted me to go to school so bad, and I was like, I just want to go play soccer. Like, but we didn't have boots. I didn't have any boots. We used to make our balls out of plastic bags and some rubber bands, and we make balls out of it, and we go play in the streets. But it was so interesting, because like when cars would come, we would stop. We move. We used to get like bricks, and those are the ones we used to use those to make our goals. But when the cars would come, we would move the bricks. The cars would pass, and then we play again. But it was really interesting, man, because we knew each and everyone in the neighborhood. We knew that at 4 p.m. everyone is out. We go out to play. But I'm truly thankful, but so every little thing, I've learned that we need to be thankful and appreciative and continue to serve those in need. Because I used to have a coach who would tell me that you're complaining about boots, but there's a guy who has no food. So what are you going to say? So we need to be thankful in every moment.
Yeah, that's a great message. That's a really great message. It can be easy to forget that sometimes, right? Things don't go your way. You complain, things aren't the way you want them to be. You wonder why they can't be that way. And it's easy to forget to put things in perspective sometimes, I guess. Moving from there though, you're in Kampala and you're playing, you mentioned, you're using a rubber band and plastic bags for a ball. How do you go from that to being quote unquote discovered to you're a professional soccer player?
Yeah, just to take you back a little bit, it's like I said, we didn't have boots, but my mom used to give me a little bit of money for my breakfast, and I would hold that money from morning till I go back home. So I saved that money and bought my first pair of boots. And I remember there were Lotos, and they had a rubber band inside, man. That thing would hold me tight. I would wear those things to school, everywhere. I would go with them everywhere. I felt like I was the man of the street, man. I felt like I'm the best man out there. And I love those moments, man. But later I realized that school was important, and like I've been blessed, and like with my entire family, I'm the only one who managed to get an education or to get a degree. And my parents couldn't afford my brother's tuition and stuff like that. But lucky enough, I had a team that I played for, Sevilla, for it was under 13, under 14, under 15, under 16, and that's where I met Ken Davies' son. And he saw that I was interested in school, that I really liked school, and I had good grades, and and we were a big number. We were a big group of guys, and some of my friends, when they saw this man working for the United Nations, and he's from United States of America, so they thought they could take advantage of him. They used to think that maybe they could take his money and ask for more tuition. But this guy was very smart. He was really smart. So before he would give you money, he would send someone at your school to make sure you're in classes. That how are your grades? Are you really are you in class every day? So most of my friends were not in classes. So lucky enough, I was in class and I was taking my school seriously because I promised my mom that I would get a degree, but she didn't know how she was going to pay for it. So Mr. Ken Davis was such a huge pillar in my life to be able to get where I am right now. But so from there, he took us to Denmark and we need to play in a tournament. And that's when a light bulb went off in my head. I'm like, I want to be a professional soccer player. I saw all these nice fields, man, like green. I was like, you could sleep on this thing. It's so nice. I was like, I want to go back to Europe and play. So I came back home and I grew closer to Mr. Ken Davis. He started paying for my high school. And then I had a friend. His name is Henry. He was like a class ahead of us. He was already in the United States. So he recommended me to his coaches at Winthrop University. And the coach flew to Uganda to come watch me play. So they came to Uganda and they really liked my style of play. And they're like, Michael, we're going to give you a scholarship. And I was like, really? This is happening? So I didn't tell my mom. Man. Like I kept it to myself till I was like, maybe I'm leaving the next day. And then they invited me to the national team. I was a young player, but they always invited me in the national team to learn from the senior players. And to play a friendly game, you need a passport. They have to check your passport. So my passport was at the embassy. So I had to go to the coach. I told him, Coach, I can't play today. He's like, why? You were going to play today? I'm like, I can't. My passport is at the embassy. He's like, where are you going? I'm like, I got a scholarship. I'm going to go study. So I talked to the president of soccer in Uganda, and he told me, Mike, okay, it's fine. You can go study and you can always come back play for the national team. And then the media was like, whoa, Mike escaped. Mike ran away. Da, da, da. The media, how they do things. But, so I didn't tell my mom. She saw it in the news. She was like, Michael, what am I reading? Where did you go? I'm like, Mom, I didn't go anywhere. I'm right here. And my flight was like tomorrow. And then I told her today, I was like, Mom, I'm leaving. She's like, where are you going? I'm like, Mom, I'm going to go study. I'm going to go to university. She's like, Michael, we don't have money. I can't afford your tuition. And I was like, Mom, don't worry about it. I got a scholarship. I'm leaving tomorrow. She's like, no way. She screamed. And she's like, no way. Like, what can I do for you? Can I cook something for you? Anything special that you like? I told her, no, Mom, I'm fine. She's like, okay, can I at least take you to the airport? Can I go with you at least? Wave at you, bye-bye. I'm like, you can do that. But she was surprised that, that I didn't tell her all the way to the end. But it's the culture I grew up in, you don't just tell people your plans and stuff until it really happens. You make it happen. So I didn't have money for the ticket. So I went and showed my scholarship letter to Mr. Ken Davis. And as soon as he approved it, he's like, Mike, I'm going to buy your ticket. I'll buy your ticket. I was like, yes. Wow. I was like, this is it. So he bought my flight and I got to Kentucky. I ended up not going to Winthrop because my paperwork was taking too long to be cleared at the clearinghouse. And I ended up going to Lindsey-Wilson's College in the middle of nowhere, but they gave me a scholarship and they gave me an education. So I'm glad that I took that step.
That must have been such a cool experience to tell your mom that. I mean, you promised her from a young age. You said that you were going to go to school, and she always said that you couldn't afford it. What was it like to get that reaction from her, to be able to tell her, Mom, I'm going?
Man, it was so cool, man. It was so nice because she was surprised too, because all they tried to do is try to put the food on the table, and that's all they could afford by then. But I'm thankful, that I met this Mr. Ken Davis and also having a good friend in Henry Kalonji. Now he lives in Charlotte and he has an academy now called Alpha Soccer. But I'm thankful for him because he's like a brother to me, and I'm glad he recommended me, and and he's done that for other players. So, but it was a good experience to see my mom, how excited she was and scared at the same time, because she's like, my son is leaving, but I'd made a promise to her that I'll get a degree. And I'm thankful, and I just finished my master's degree right now. So I finished my master's
Let's
degree as
go.
well. So I'm truly thankful for that.
Chanel, you want to get in here?
Yeah, I wanted to know more, and this might be diving like way too far ahead, so we can take baby steps, but I'm just curious, this experience is obviously one example out of a lot of, probably different experiences on how people, first of all, go from one country to another to play. But then there are obviously other elements involved when we are talking about East Africa and maybe, European countries or the United States, and what that experience can be like. You talk a lot about like your papers and like all of the logistics that's required. Do you feel like your story is one that's really marked by luck and like the stars aligning to make that happen, or is the story a little less rare? Are most of the stories that you hear positive when people are scouted and recruited this way? Because it seems like it's such a big world. What does that system actually look like in terms of all of the international play that happens between countries and teams?
Yeah, thank you, Chanel. So to me, I would think it always comes down to preparation and luck, because you create your own luck through preparation. So if you don't prepare well, because like I said, most of my friends that I grew up with, they chose not to go to school. They wanted the quick money. I could have chose that route, but I was like, I need to finish school because that brought pride to my mom and my family. And, I could have taken that route, but I was like, I need to bring honor to my mom and my family. So I had to stay in school, take care of my grades, and train. And so soccer played a big role in my life. It kept me out of trouble, and it helped me to make good decisions. But it always comes down to preparation, because even coming to the United States, it wasn't easy at the beginning. I remember I went to Kentucky and it was in the middle of nowhere. And I was like, I want to go back home. I don't want to be here, But then in my mind, I remembered, that the promise I made to my mom was like, I need to remember the reason why I go to the US. First of all, was to get an education. It's not to live in a big city. Because, imagine from Uganda, they say you're going to United States of America. The only thing you see back home is New York City, Chicago, you see LA, Hollywood. This is the only thing you see on TV. You never see Colombia. You never see New Mexico, So I go to Kentucky and I was like, wow, what am I doing here? But I had come with some of my friends. One of my friends was from Kenya, and then another one was from Uganda as well. So we had to find a way to stick together. And the time difference was really huge. And because back home you get your breakfast at around 10 or 9, between 9 and 10. Your lunch is between 1 and 2. Your dinner you have it at 9. And here, when we got here, man, the first day we starved. We didn't eat because we were so tired from the flight. And they told us, hey, they didn't tell us anything. They just dropped us in the dormitories and were like, oh, wake up, go eat breakfast at 10. But we're like, let's sleep in a little bit, wake up at 12. We go to the cafeteria. The cafeteria is closed. We were like, what's going on? So we were tired, so we just went back to the bedroom, to our dormitories, and we said we said wake up at 3 for lunch. We went there, the cafeteria is closed again. We were like, okay, this is not good. And we had a little bit of biscuits and water, so we ate those and then slept again. So we woke up at 8 to go for dinner. It was closed again. And then we're like, Americans don't eat or what? What's going on? We were hungry. Like, we didn't know what time people eat around here. So we're like, oh, we need to sort this out. And we didn't have phones to call anybody. It was just us on campus by then. It was not fun. But they had to wear us in the next day. We were like, we hadn't eaten anything for almost 2 days. But then we had to figure it out, cafeteria is at 11, breakfast is at 6 and 8, so we had to sort out these things. But it always came down to preparation and knowing the reason as to why you're doing something, because if we don't have that in our lives, I feel like it's easy to be blown by the wind. Like you you won't have a plan in your life. You can just go anywhere. If someone tells, hey, Chanel, let's go here, you'd go. But if you have a plan in your mind and you have a good reason as to why you're doing something, I feel like you're most likely to achieve your goals.
I think the point that I like to take out of that is as it relates to Mr. Ken Davies, right? Your preparation, yes, it was fortunate for you to meet this man, for him to have a good heart, for him to care about it. But if you had not been prepared, if you had not been handling your business, that's an opportunity that's potentially squandered. That's an opportunity that potentially goes to someone else. And I think that's a crazy illustration. Also, as a logistics person, Mike, you know this, with my role with the Academy, it's pretty much my job to make sure our guys never go hungry. So I am seethingly angry at that story of Arrival. Like, all they had to do was give you a piece of paper that says this is when the stuff is open. I don't mean to be overly critical of the Lindsey Wilson academic advising staff, but that seems like a fairly easy fix.
Yeah, they could have done much better, but still, I'm glad we went through that time and we made it through, man.
Like sorry, go ahead.
No,
you seem like you mentioned that preparation and you make your own luck and all of that kind of stuff. It seems like this is like firmly rooted in you and who you are as a person. Who do you attribute that to, or where do you attribute that to? Did that come from your mom? As growing up as a kid, did she tell you these things, or where does that come from? Because not everybody has that.
Yeah, so mostly I always looked forward to, I always wanted to be like my elder brother. My elder brother was always on top of things, and he told me a lot of life skills, like to save money, to work hard, and to speak your mind, and so I always wanted to be like him. And he was a soccer player too. I wanted to be just like him. So my dad played soccer as well, and our mom did a great job of teaching us the morals and our manners and stuff like that. She did a great job, because she won't take any nonsense, and she told us to be always to be honest, to be transparent, to be accountable. So my mom played a big part, but also my brother played a big part to where I am today.
I can tell you, if you've had a chance to listen to any of the episodes prior to coming on here, we are very much of the belief on this podcast that moms are the best people in the world. So good on you. Awesome to hear that your mom had that kind of an influence on you growing up.
Thank you.
So, go ahead, Lucas.
Yeah, I want to talk a little bit about, first I have a silly question, and then I want to get into it a little bit more. Do you and Brandon Morris, our director of soccer operations, make jokes and then close them with, you've had to spend some time in Kentucky?
No, yet. We haven't got to that step yet.
I think it's a good step. I think it's a funny thing. I heard that Neil Armstrong, the first man to walk on the moon, I hear he notoriously told terrible jokes, and when no one laughed, there would be terrible jokes about the moon, and he would say, well, you had to be there to laugh. So I think you guys can start folding in that Kentucky, that culture that you can only have from spending extensive time in Kentucky. So you land, you get there, you start playing. I've looked at all your stats. You were probably a cut above the competition you were playing against at that specific institution. What happens next? How do we go from a lost kid from Kampala who's like, where is the Golden Gate Bridge and where are all the bright LED lights, as he looks around Kentucky, to this incredibly illustrious career that you've had that has spanned multiple MLS teams, national team appearances? What are the steps between that awkward landing where you're starving for 2 days and you're one of the biggest names in American soccer?
Thank you. Thanks, Lucas. Man, that's a long story, but to get to where I am, I always attribute it to the reason as to why. And because like that promise I made to my mom, I want to finish school before I start playing soccer. And always wanted to be a professional soccer player. I had two things in my mind. I'm like, I'm in this place, I go to Kentucky. Now, what do I need to do? I need to get an education. But as I was there at Lindsey Wilson's College, sometimes it gets so lonely that, they give you a mailbox, but you don't get any mail. You're like, should I write to myself and go pick it, and read it to myself, Like you see your friends go pick their mail, their parents send them stuff. And that was a luxury to us. That wasn't there.
I'm sorry, I
But-
have to briefly interrupt, Mike. If I can invent a time machine just to go back in time and write you letters when you're
You'd
small,
write to
I'm
me?
gonna do it. I know there's
I would
much
send you
more
the
we could
best care
accomplish.
package, Mike. It would have all kinds of treats in it.
Oh,
Oh man.
No, man. But so I was there and we didn't have jobs on campus. Sometimes you have your own needs. But there was a good lady from Japan. She was working with international students. She would get us some toiletry and stuff like that. And I'm thankful to her. Her name was Madame Susie. She always looked out for us. But I reached a moment where I was like, I think I can do more than just being here at school. Because students used to live on the weekend and we stay on campus by ourselves. Because I remember one time we had to stay through the Christmas break. That Christmas break was cold, man. I was like, what are we doing here? I was like, that was my first winter season. I was like, this is not good. So I was like, what can we do? But we had a good time playing soccer, and we won a championship. We had people from all over the world. Like we had only one American player on our team, and it was only coming in like if it's 5-0 or something like that. But we had a lot of players from all over the world, which helped us to learn about different cultures, and embracing everyone's culture and friendships. So we had good friendships, but I recently was like, I need to transfer to another school where I can have a job and be able to take care of my little needs, and so I went to the coach and I told him I want to, can you help me transfer? He told me, no, you're not going anywhere. I was like, man, we just won your championship. Let me go. Leave me alone. But he wouldn't let me go. And by then I didn't know the rules, but I reached a man and that was my second year. I said, okay, I'll stay for one more year. After 1 year, I'm leaving this place. So in my third year, I just woke up and I left. I went to University of Mobile. I'm like, I just told them, I'll come to your school if you just get me a job. That's it, and I'll play for you guys. And they offered me a job on campus. I was working in the cafeteria, and I was working for 2 days. I was working on Saturdays and Sundays, and then the other days I'll be in school. So when they offered me the job, I just left, and I'm like, bye bye. And then the coach at Lindsay tried to call me. I didn't pick up. I'm like, no, I'm not talking to this guy. But I'm thankful to him as well because he gave me a scholarship. Even though when I wanted to leave, he didn't want me to leave. But so I go to Mobile. I started working there. I bought my first laptop with the money from there. And then I was like, woohoo, now I have to learn to type. How to type. Like if I had a paper that was due on Friday, I'll start it on Monday. I'm like, tick, 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 But I learned to type. And after that, I got a coaching job as well. I coached a high school and we won a state championship that year. And then I graduated with a business degree. But then after that, then my second goal of playing professional soccer hit me then. I was like, what am I going to do after I finish college? Where am I going? I'm not going to go back to Uganda. There is nothing in Uganda right now. And your parents and your brothers are looking up to you. They're like, Michael is in America. For them, they don't understand what's going on here. They think you live like in LA,
You're in New York City, not Kentucky, not Mobile.
Yes, or Mobile. But during school breaks, I used to go sometimes play PDL. I played for Mississippi Bria, and I was able to connect with a number of people. They took good care of us, and I'm thankful to them because up to now we're in touch with them. I always go back and say hi, and that's why I met my wife in Mississippi. And after that, they told me, Michael, there's a USL Combine. Would you like to go and play? I was like, wow, I would love that. So I went to the Combine. I did really well. And I was like, I don't care about the money. I just need a contract. Because USL contracts, they're not that huge. In the past, it wasn't that huge, I was like, I don't care about the money. All I need is put my foot in the door. That's all I cared about. So I signed my first contract with Charleston Battery. And I wasn't playing much. They put me everywhere on the field, but I didn't mind. I just like, if I get my chance to be on the field, I'm going to give it all. And I played with Zach Prince, our coach right now. And we like the way stars get aligned, in the sky, you never know. But always comes down to preparation. And I scored in the championship in the final game, and I scored a championship goal. And I was like, this is really good for me. And the coach signed me for another year. And I was like, yes, this is working out for me. They provided us with apartments, and then the second year I did really well. And the coach in Charleston called Seattle Sounders. They were friends, and this were like, you need your connections, man. Your network is your worth. It's really important. So he called him. He's like, hey, I have a kid here from Uganda. Would you like to take a look at him? Yeah, he's had a great season here. He's still under contract, but would you like him? He's like, yeah, just send him over, bring him over. And that's when we still had the reserve league.
Mm-hmm.
So I go there. They play Portland Timbers, and for us, we're going to play the next day. And I got the privilege of watching them play. It's a derby, and Seattle lost that day, but for us, we're playing the next day. And then as our game got there, they were going to put me on the bench. And then you remember the player Steven Zakwani?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he was the one who was going to start as a number 11. And as the game was about to start, he said, no, I don't feel good. I don't want to play. And the coach just looked at me, he's like, Michael, come on. I was like, uh-oh. Me? I'd never played as a left winger, but I was like, the ball doesn't change shape. And if this is my opportunity.
I love that. The ball doesn't change shape. That's so good.
It doesn't matter where you play.
I want that on a t-shirt.
The ball doesn't change shape.
I love that.
Seriously. So I was like, if this is my chance, I'm going to go perform well. And whatever comes out of it, I'll be thankful for this opportunity. So I went and played, and I scored the winning goal. And I was like, yes. The coach talked to me after the game. He's like, Michael, come back in preseason.
There it is.
I was like, yes, I think I did it.
Mike,
okay.
The stars aligned. The stars aligned, man.
I know, man, because like things, the way they happen is like, it's like domino, Like Steven Zakwani is saying, I don't know, I don't want to play. And it just opens an opportunity for someone else. And that changed my life from there. I played well, played for the team, we won, and they told me come back in preseason. Dude, I was so excited. I was pumped. I was like, yes. I go to Seattle in preseason, and I just like give it all, man. Every day. They told me, go play left back, go play right back, go play midfield. I don't say no. I don't say I don't play that position or I play there. No, I'm like, I'm going to play.
Michael, they need to make your life into a movie, man. I mean, how many people do you know just walked off the campus and went to another school and then got the opportunity? It's just the stars aligning, and again, a huge part of it is what you mentioned earlier. You make your own luck. You were prepared. You were willing to do whatever was needed. It's amazing. But man,
Dave, to body in on here recently, like I think all we know right now is Azira is definitely coming back for a second episode. We have so much to unpack right here, but I got mesmerized in that story, and I looked up and I was like, holy moly, we're at 40 minutes. So I want to devote a lot of time, and I want to give a lot of space to Chanel on this, because Chanel, whether or not you want to accept this praise or not, you have forgotten more about the nonprofit realm than I will ever learn. And so I think you definitely need to be a lead here. But Mike, let's transition into the foundation. Let's transition into sort of the roots of how you got that started. And then let's have you and Chanel cut it up a little bit on the process of that and managing all of that.
Sounds good.
So how to get started, man?
So, like I said earlier, Mr. Ken Davis was such a huge part in my life. And I got to meet him after I finished school. And I went back and I told him, Ken Davis, how can I ever repay you back? He told me, Michael, you don't have to pay me back. Instead, pass it on. Do it for another kid. And I was like, man, that was something else, man. Like, I've never met someone like that, because a lot of people like to do things for, with expectations, and they want returns on everything. But instead, he just told me, man, it's like, hey, pass it on, do it for another kid. Like I did it for you, do it for someone else. And I was like, this is it. This is what I needed. And that, to me, that's why I feel like I found my purpose there. I'm like, this transcends into who I am, instead of what I do. My legacy, my life, at least I want to be, that, I touch someone else's life like someone did it for me. So with that, I sat down with my friends and we're like, let's start doing a soccer tournament. We started it by doing soccer tournaments, whereby we go home, we take boots, we take gear just to give away to kids. So, and the first tournament, we had around 1,500 kids. And we provide them with gear, we provide them with meals and transport. And later, after the 2 seasons we did that, we're like, we need to turn this into a foundation. How can we be more, more I like that shot. I like that shot, David. So we're like, we need to find a way to use our platform that we've been blessed with to help these kids even more. How can we get another Azira Michael into the US? How can we help another kid to come to get an education? So we finally filed our paperwork and it went through to become a 501c3. And now we sponsor several kids now. People have been really generous to us and I'm truly thankful. People have given us boots, people have given us balls. Like you don't understand what a ball does to kids back home. One ball can bring 20 kids together. And that is keeping them out of trouble. One ball, they will be on the field all day long. And we were like, we need to do this even in a better way. And that's why when we raised some money, we're like, we need to build our own school, where kids have it. Because I believe if you have a safe home, you're more likely to be successful in school and in other areas of your life. And most of the kids we work with, they don't have homes or they're single, they're with single parents. So we're like, if we build our own facility, we can be able to do more activities, more programs for these kids. And last year we managed to buy 23 acres of land, and we want to build dormitories, want to put a school there, and we want to put there soccer fields. And on that same land, we want to grow food, where the food will feed the school. So with that, with that being there in place, we are looking for funds to be able to build this, to be able to help as many kids as we can, to find them opportunities, to find them school supplies, to find them tuition. And so far, it's been good so far, and having people back home in Uganda, they've been really good to work with us, to find our local coordinators. They've done a great job to meet the parents, because you have to involve the parents. Those who have parents, they have to be involved in the program as well. And they've done a great job in terms of reaching out to the parents. When I go home as well, I get to go see the kids, I get to see their parents and tell them what we do, what we're trying to do to help the kids. Because someone did it for me, why not do it for another kid who might see that, he has potential, he wants to be in school? Because that's the most emphasis in our foundation. Like, hey, soccer is going to end someday. You at least get an education. So the emphasis on we play soccer, we do what we have fun, but you have to be in school. We don't want to work with kids who don't want to be in school. So, but we trying to find ways to support our kids in any way possible, and that to me, I feel like education is the best way to help our kids, and using soccer as a tool to help them achieve their goals. And we've been good so far, so I'm truly thankful for all the people have supported us to reach to this point.
I'm so inspired by that mission, and there's a lot of alignment with what we're trying to do here in New Mexico, and I see a lot of the same spirit in like our outreach and stuff like that, and even just you sharing your story when you can. I find that also with David Estrada, when we travel around New Mexico and he's able to share his story as well, and I hope that you can come be part of that, much more. I know that you have matches to play and all of that gets in the way of the fun stuff. But I really think about your story too. What inspires me about it, and that made me feel kind of emotional on this podcast, is that you had an incredible humility throughout your journey, but also such a sense of agency and self-advocacy. Like you naturally, or you coached yourself this way to advocate for yourself when you needed it, and to stand up for what you needed to do, with that ambition to make your career what it is. But also you're able to play a lot of different roles, and you were able to just go in and say, like, I just want to get my foot in the door. I don't care about the money. So that was also a very humble approach, and I'm just really inspired by that. And I think that piece of your story is something I wish every New Mexican child could hear, because you can sometimes be too humble and too quiet, and you forget that you may get lucky and have these angels along the way who advocate for you and help you, but if you're not going to like have the agency to believe in your path and to make certain that everybody knows that you're worth that much, you're not going to get very far. So I appreciate you just sharing that with us, and I'm very inspired. And I think I love what you said about the soccer ball being able to bring kids together and give them something productive to do. It's tough to balance, right? Like, soccer belongs to everybody. Then there's also the time where you have to think through, who are the kids that can go and get a scholarship, right? Like, what kind of training and attention do they need versus the kids who just need something productive to do, the kids who need to stay healthy in school, fueling their bodies. And so it does take kind of a multi-pronged commitment to community change through youth soccer, for sure. What do you think about that divide in reaching a certain point where you have to actually start assessing talent and looking at the pipelines moving forward? Is that challenging from like a coaching standpoint?
Yeah, it could be. It's challenging, but it's if you work with the right people, and even you talked about, like, you can't do life alone. It's very hard to do life alone. We need help here and there, and if there's anything I could do for the foundation, I'd love to be part of it, share my story, be out there with the kids and get my hands dirty and play with them. I would love it. I've always loved to give back, but and like working with the right people, like us back home in Uganda. If I'm here, but programs have to keep on running back home. Finding the right people who believe in your cause, believe in your reason as to why you started something, it's very, very important. It's important to have the right team in place to get things going, and they've been really helpful to us, and I'm thankful for those guys because I can't do it without them.
Mike, you mentioned wanting to help with the Somos Unidos Foundation, get your hands dirty there. How can we as New Mexicans help with the Azira Michael Youth Foundation? How can we get involved? Is it donations? What is it?
Yeah, man, everything helps. Even you can donate equipment, soccer gear. You can donate. You can sponsor kid. You can donate money to help with the school project, and also even us. We would like to be involved in any way that we can help the community. If there's any way, as the Azira Michael Youth Foundation, we like to help in any way that we can. But that's the most way that you can be involved, right now. Also, if you want to travel to Uganda someday, that would be nice to come and serve, be a volunteer on one of the tournaments that we do. That would be really great. It'd be nice to go see where we come from and enjoy some food, and meet the kids. So, but,
Sign
donations. Yes, please.
I'll learn how to use like construction tools between now and then, and I can help like literally build things too if you want.
That would be great. That would be great.
So if somebody wants to sponsor a kid, do they go to AziraMichaelYouthFoundation.org? Is that how that works?
Yeah, that, and also they can write an email to us first, so we can reply to them, and then we can tell them how to go about it.
Awesome. And then follow definitely online at Azira Michael, and that's
Yes.
MICHEAL.
Yes, and Azira Michael Youth Foundation. We have an Instagram page, we have a Twitter page, and there's a Facebook page as well. And so you can follow us there and be involved as much as you can, and we'll be truly appreciative of your support. And anything helps, I'm telling you, because a lot of people, like, if you tell them like a school project, they think that, you have to donate $50,000 or $10,000. No, even $1 helps. $1 goes a long way in Uganda. It gets kids meals. They have a meal a day. They'll have that meal for the night. They can buy school supplies, $5, $10. To sponsor a kid in Uganda, it's like some of the kids who were still in primary or secondary, like our primary kids, they only need $50 to go to school, and here it's some people just, you can take that and have just one plate or have a meal in one day, or just to go out. But everything helps, and anything if you have soccer gear, um, if you have money, you want to donate money, that's great. We are thankful, and soccer gear is really, really important because there's a need for that. Boots, jerseys, socks, backpacks for the kids to go back to school. Everything helps, because I won't say school supplies here because we have to ship them, and that's expensive. So we buy them in Uganda, and so that we don't have to pay for that expense from here to there. And so but I'm thankful for anything. So any way you can support the foundation, I'll be truly, truly thankful.
Yeah, a follow costs nothing. Visiting the website costs nothing, and these are all things that we do to get the important message out there. So fans, if you can share this to your own social following, we can create this ripple effect. This is fantastic work, and I think it speaks volumes that Chanel is here from the Somos Unidos Foundation side. And correct me if I'm wrong, Chanel, but you don't see this as competition. You see this as just another great initiative to support. Again, like I said earlier, there's nothing that I would like to do more than go another hour with you, Mike, but let's just save it for another episode. I think we've had a lot of people via the comments and everything just fall in love with what it is you're doing. We're going to unpack a lot more of this as we get to know you more. But as you well know about this podcast, one of the most important things is playing a ridiculous game and wrapping it up. So we need to leave a little bit of time for that. So on the other side of the break, we're going to play What I Mike About You, which is where we see how Mike Azira fares in the realm of knowing other famous Michaels. He will be squaring down with Chanel. So stick around for a few seconds. We'll be right back.
For her. Para ellos. For them. For all of us.
For our families, we stay home. For our communities, we keep our distance. For our state and our fellow New Mexicans, we wear our masks. As New Mexicans, we're no strangers to hardship. Anytime something is put in our way, we prove that we can overcome it. The sacrifices that we make today will create a better tomorrow for all of New Mexico. Somos Unidos.
We are back on United Sessions' final segment. We got to move quickly through this one. So I don't know that we've ever imposed a time limit before, but maybe we impose a minor time limit on this one just so we keep it moving along. The game is What I Mike About You, and we have 8 famous Michaels in a tiebreaker. Chanel and Michael Azira will square off one question each with the opportunity to steal. So Azira, if you miss one and Miss Weesey happens to know the answer to it, she's gonna rack up those points pretty quickly. Yep. So here we go. This is it. I think Dave will put the stakes on it that Mr. Azira wins. Our donation of the night will go to the Michael Azira Youth Foundation. And if Chanel pulls this out, we will once again make another donation to the Somos Unidos Foundation. She just keeps crushing us. David Estrada keeps walking around with the cell phone in the square in the front office, and he just keeps crushing me and you and Peter Travisani for donations. So anyway, the money's going to go to a good cause. It's going to be fun. And again, I don't know that this one is crazy hard, but it is contingent on how much you guys have a wide swath of Michael knowledge. This is not just athletes. This is not just performers. This is Michaels across the board. So Dave, I'll give you the distinct honor that you much deserve of asking the first question. But are we going to Chanel first, or are we going to Azira first? You're on mute, brother.
There you go. It helps to unmute. Let's go with Mike first. This is his first time on the show. Mike, we're gonna open up with you. You ready?
He also is a Mike.
He also is a Mike. Yeah.
The honor of the mics.
All right, let's do it, Mike. All right, up first, an American singer, songwriter, and dancer dubbed the King of Pop.
MJ.
We'll accept that, Mike. That would be Mr. Michael Jackson. Congratulations, 1-0. Mike Azira on top.
A little tee-hee in honor of that correct
Jamona.
answer from our friend Mr. Mike Azira. Chanel. He's an American former professional basketball player and the principal owner of the Charlotte Hornets of the NBA. He played 15 seasons in the NBA, winning 6 championships. Name that, Michael.
MJ Part 2.
Yes.
Okay, do you want to unpack that a little bit more, you two cheaters? Or are you just going to keep saying MJ the whole time and be like, I like my odds against 26 letters?
No. Michael Jordan.
Beautiful. Last Dance.
Yes.
Everyone's favorite documentary over the pandemic.
All right, 1-1. Mike, you are up next. An American former professional boxer who competed from 1985 to 2005. He reigned as the undisputed world heavyweight champion and holds the record as the youngest boxer to win a heavyweight title at just 20 years old. Name that, Mike.
Mike Tyson.
Hey, 2-1. No hesitation. Let's go.
Yeah, he's throwing him down. Chanel. He's an American actor known for his film roles as shooting victim Oscar Grant in the drama Fruitvale Station, boxer Adonis Creed in the Rocky sequel film Creed, and main antagonist Eric Killmonger in Black Panther. Name that, Mike.
I don't know actors.
You know this one.
For those of you in
Is
the
it
listening audience,
associated with the last answer I had?
We can't
it
answer
may
that.
or may not be, but you should know that Chanel notoriously hates movies. She actively lobbies against movies and wishes no one would watch them ever.
When they come on, I just close my eyes. Is that Michael B. Jordan?
That is correct, and she pulls it very well done.
Never thought I would see the day that Chanel got a movie question right, but here we are. All right, Mike, you're up. American retired competitive swimmer and the most successful and most decorated Olympian of all time with a total of 28 medals.
Don't say that.
This individual also holds the all-time record for Olympic gold medals in individual events, and Olympic gold medals with 23, Olympic gold medals in individual events with 13, and Olympic medals in individual events. Name that, Mike.
Michael Phelps.
Hey!
He's not even playing with us. He's just like, I feel like we're fighting our dad in the pool with our questions. Like, he just keeps dunking us into the deep end. All right, Chanel.
I don't know these questions.
It's 3-2. 3-2, Mike's on top.
Chanel, a Canadian-American actor, comedian, author, film producer, and activist with a film and television career spanning from the 1970s. He starred in Back to the Future trilogy, in which he played Marty McFly. How did you get 2 actor ones?
Is this Michael J. Fox?
That is Michael J. Fox.
I only know that because Michael J. Fox was Alex P. Keaton, right?
Oh no! She used an LFO song to get the question right.
Well done, Chanel. Well done, Chanel.
I couldn't pick Michael J. Fox out of a lineup at all. Like, visually, no.
Just look for the
When
hoverboard.
Dave met you, did he say his name was something?
Rich.
Rich. You look like a girl from Abercrombie and Fitch. That's awful.
Okay, we're going to move on from that. Chanel had her Canadian actor. Now it's your turn, Mike. A Canadian actor, comedian, screenwriter, and producer who holds Canadian, British, and American citizenship. He's known for his run as a performer on Saturday Night Live from 1989 to 1995, and for playing the title roles in Wayne's World, Austin Powers, and Shrek.
Oh, man.
What are you doing in my swamp, Michael?
I know.
It's also the name of the fairly terrifying villain from the Halloween movies.
Yeah, that's true.
You can't give hints.
We just did.
I can
This is
do
your
what I
podcast.
want, Janelle.
What?
Your next one is so hard, you don't want to be mean to me.
Oh, man. This one.
Hot take from Mama Weesey there. Chanel, lover of Kevin Bacon, but hater of Footloose. Hot take.
That's also the lyric in the LFO song. I like Kevin Bacon, but I hate Footloose.
You guys,
that's what it is.
Mike's trying to focus, and you guys are distracting him.
He's in Shrek. He's Austin Powers. Yeah, baby. Come on, Mike Azira, you can pull this.
Oh man, I'm trying to pull this up.
All right. Gonna give you 5 seconds, and then I have to hand it over to the steel. And then you're in trouble. 5, 4.
Michael, no. Take it, Chanel.
Oh, he just handed it off. Chanel, put it away.
Who is Michael Myers?
That is correct.
Nice.
Mike Myers. All right, you're not out, Azira. You're not out. She could miss this one. I'm actually counting on her missing this one. And then you have a crazy pull, and we go to the tiebreaker. Chanel, you're one of my best friends on the face of the earth. I'm not that big of a hater, but here we go. He's an American filmmaker known for directing and producing big budget, high concept action films characterized by fast cutting, stylistic visuals, and extensive use of special effects, including frequent depictions of explosions. The films he's produced and directed, which include Armageddon, Pearl Harbor, and the Transformers film series, have grossed over $7.8 billion worldwide. Name that Mike.
He's a director?
He's a director.
Filmmaker. Mike.
Transformers. Think about those lens flares, Chanel. The master of the lens flare.
I thought I knew who it was, but I think he's a much more highly renowned director than these movies.
Hey, you'd be surprised.
Before you answer, Chanel, Mike, do you know this one?
Mike.
Wait, don't say it.
No, don't say it. Don't
Okay.
say the answer. Don't say the answer. I'm just asking. If
Dylan is actually right. I've made a terrible mistake. This is not the master of the lens flare. The master of the lens flare is J.J. Abrams from the Star Trek series. So
That's right.
I apologize. Thank you,
He's the
producer
master of
Dylan.
explosions.
Yeah,
and
explosions, over the top
action.
production. Sorry, Dylan. I know that offended you. While we wait for Chanel to answer, everyone, Dylan, our producer, has his own podcast. It's called something. You can put it in the bottom, Dill. It's the Great Movies Podcast, I believe it's called.
Oh,
but it's
I
all
should
based-
probably listen to that and learn something.
Yeah,
You have to watch
they
a
do a really
movie
good
first.
job.
Is it Michael Scorsese?
Oh my God!
Is that
You
wrong?
know the
That's
famous
wrong.
director Michael Scorsese
Oh my gosh. No, Chanel.
and his lesser-known
minor,
brother Martin.
minor miss there. You got it, Azira?
Yeah.
What is it?
You okay, Chanel, to take? Should I take it?
She already missed
She already
it.
gave
She
her
already
answer.
missed
She's
it.
out, man.
Michael Bay.
Hey!
Death. We're
Oh.
going to the tiebreaker.
All right, here we
I've
go.
never heard of him.
I love.
I've never heard of
Transformers,
Michael Bay.
man.
I mean,
I
he
love-
makes... Go ahead, Mike.
I love Transformers, man. Me and my son, we just watch these things, man. We love them.
All right,
Breaking
so
news,
here's
producer Dylan, lover of movies, is no longer with us. He died of an aneurysm when Chanel said Michael Scorsese.
so Dylan and Chanel could not be more different when it comes to movie. Dylan is a cinephile. Chanel is a cinephobe. So all
That
right,
sounds
here
like
we-
a good podcast. Do we need to produce that under our umbrella?
There you go, Mike.
the
Dylan, I can
cinephile
see in the background, is
cinephobe?
very happy about that. All right, so here's how the tiebreaker is going to work. I have one question. I'm going to read it to both of you. The first person to answer it and answer it correctly is the winner. You can interrupt me if you want, if you know it, but if you answer incorrectly, the other person obviously has the opportunity to answer too. So, you guys ready? Tiebreaker question for all the marbles. An American singer and songwriter. He originally performed in the hard rock and heavy metal genres from the mid-1970s to the mid-1980s, both on his early solo albums and those he recorded later as the frontman of the band Blackjack. He became better known for his series of pop rock ballads recorded after a stylistic change in the late 1980s. Either one of you can answer here.
Basically, guys, this is the time to rapid fire musicians whose name is Michael.
Yep, just start with it and go. There's also, we've been talking about movies and cinephiles. There's also a parody video of him talking about just loving movies that Dylan has referenced here on the bottom. He's a fan of Pirates of the Caribbean and Captain Jack Sparrow.
Does he go by Michael or Mike?
He goes by Michael.
Is that
You can say it if you want. Rapid fire.
Let's go.
George Michael?
No.
Although that would have been a nice little mix-up. We could have done that as the last
Push it over to the other side.
That's a good guess.
I'm going to give you both a clue because you're both struggling. The last name starts with a B. Michael
Bolton.
Hey!
I have no idea who that is.
Folks, we have learned a lot about Chanel Weesey tonight, and that she knows next to nothing about the golden era of trivia that the Game Masters put these together. Chanel, you fought nobly. I am non-facetiously super proud of you. You battled through a lot of film answers. You really did bring it, and it came down to the tiebreaker. But Mr. Azira, you are our champion. Congratulations.
Thank you, Chanel.
The least we can do.
Good
Least
game.
we can do.
Good game.
It was a good game. Look at that sportsmanship. Okay, we are up against it. We would typically do our favorite things here, but we'll save that for your next episode, Michael and Chanel, and we'll talk about that a little bit more. Dave, I don't think there's a whole lot we need to do with this. Let's give everyone sort of a quick update on what's going on with Civic Plaza and game tickets, and then let's put a bow on this bad boy.
Yeah, absolutely. Civic Plaza watch party this weekend, Saturday, as our boys head out to El Paso. There will be a retail event in the morning starting at 8 a.m. as we, here's a little bit of a quiet secret for you, are going to be dropping a jersey with a new sponsor on it. A new
don't tell anyone.
Yeah, that's some secret information here. So that's coming out this Saturday. Be at the retail space at 8 a.m. to get yours first. So that's going to be a whole new thing. That's going to be really exciting. And then we're having a big old New Mexican celebration excuse me, on Civic Plaza starting at 4:30 p.m. Watch party. Tickets go on sale for that Civic Plaza watch party tomorrow at 8 a.m. on our website. When I say on sale, the cost is whatever you feel like donating to the Somos Unidos Foundation. So please donate whatever you like. Any amount is appreciated. And if you want to donate to the Azira Michael Youth Foundation, check out AziraMichaelYouthFoundation.org.
Absolutely. It's been a great night, everybody. Michael, thank you so much for your time. Chanel, thank you so much for your time. I cannot wait to continue this conversation. And yeah, I mean, I think that's about all we can say at this point. I'm kind of stalling a little bit because I'm realizing, do I need to take Dave's role in the traditional wrap up? And I think the answer to that. No, you're good. You're good. You want to still occupy that space.
No. I'm just saying we're good. I think we've done enough on the wrap up there, timing wise. We gotta roll out of here. So thank you everybody for tuning in. The ball does not change shape. We'll see you next time. Until then, Lucas, Somos Unidos.
We are united.